Harry Hayek will be the pole sitter. It's a reverse top 6.
Yes, Thomas Randall, who came from the back of the grid in our first ever Jayco Formula 4 Championship race, will start on the front row. Going through the field there, we've got Lewis Leeds, Jimmy Vernon on the second row, Nick Rowe, who is a brand new starter, and unfortunately a car off the grid there failed to start. Drew Ridge, who is a star of the future for sure, been running in Formula Asia.
Revs rise. Cam's Jayco Formula 4 on the grid. To your right, a young man from Melbourne. And we've got a staller. It's Lewis Leeds. Is everyone going to get around him? Yes, they do. They did a good job. Not the great start for Randall that he wanted. And it looks like Jimmy Vernon in the car number 25 in the AGI Sport entry that may have just found his way into the lead of the race. Hard braking. Jordan Lloyd with a big move up the inside. 3 wide for 3rd and 4th. They give each other some racing room. Lewis Leeds has just made that move away from the start line. He'll be disappointed. And they're all on top of each other again at turn 3. This is where Lloyd made that mistake earlier in the first race. Zane Goddard up the inside, picks off another spot.
Nice move by Zane Goddard, the youngest driver in the field at 15. A little bit of wheel spin on the exit, but Vernon's got his head down. Certainly Thomas Randall, the most experienced driver, being Australian Formula 4 champion, but got a little bit too much wheel spin off the line. Oh no, Frankie Maiolo coming to a stop there. Doesn't look to be any damage, but let's hope he can get that started. Took a while. Lewis Leeds let the clutch out just a bit quick. Car bogged down and unfortunately stalled, but he's going. So Vernon, again, one of the experienced Formula 4 campaigners, leads the way. On board with Thomas Gretsch, who unfortunately had a mechanical and didn't start the last race, so he's had to come right off the back of the grid.
Oh, carries that brake pedal deep into turn 13, and we tick off the first lap. There was some issues for 1 or 2 cars, but thankfully all 4 wheels on the cars that are out there. And Lloyd is on an absolute charge here. He's up to 3rd already. Started a long way back. There's a local yellow down here, and we might be under safety car. So safety car has been deployed.
Yeah, I'd say that's for car 2, for Frankie there, staying in the car. So some sort of mechanical problem, unfortunately, for the young supercarter. Again, very little circuit racing experience, also qualifying for the rookie championship. And safety cars waiting to be called out by a race director, Laurie Schmidt.
So there are the safety car boards, yellow flags being waved, and the field gets paced. We saw a problem in the first lap earlier today. Let's listen in.
Do you want it? What do you reckon we come in here and check it?
So discussing Frankie's very near future.
Yeah, Tim Macro there, another experienced open wheeler driver, talking to Mark Rundle, the team principal of BRM. So something not quite right. They're saying, should he drive it back? Let's have a look at the start. You see a lot of wheel spin on the right. Oh, that'll be a jump start.
Now, we didn't see that the first time because I was distracted by poor Lewis Leeds. He didn't get away, and that was a good effort from the boys around him to miss him. This is what it looked like from on board with Tom Gretsch. Oh, good reactions. Actually, no, that's Zane Goddard. So,
Zane Goddard there, yep. So looking at Harry Hayek, he moved off the line, then he brought the car to a complete stop, but unfortunately his front wheels were over the line. So if you move but stop, your wheels need to be on or behind the grid line. So there could well be a time penalty added to Harry Hayek's race finishing position.
Yeah, well, Lloyd caught one earlier, so it would be consistent. And nice move. That was Goddard going up the inside. I think it was Paul Brown getting relegated a spot. And that was at the exit of turn 3 where we lost the noise for Frankie Maiolo.
We've actually spoken to all the drivers too, Chad. We've mentioned that there can be no weaving when the lights go out. So they've all been given a warning. If they do it again in this race or tomorrow, there will be a 2-spot grid penalty. So there's no warming up of the tyres once those lights go out. Hear the turbos, hear the whistling away.
Oh, Randall has not let Jimmy Vernon get away from him out of that last corner. Back to the green flag we go. The reverse grid race. It's Vernon who leads us to the green from Sydney in New South Wales. He's being chased by a man from Melbourne, and the very hungry Jordan Lloyd, keen to make up for the errors that he made in race number 1. They're all on the inside of the track. Nick Rowe defensive. He has the pole sitter, Harry Hayek, trying to go around the long way. It's not worked out nicely for Harry. The pressure of starting at the front has caught him here. But the big names are at the front, the guys that probably have more laps and more experience than anyone in the field.
Speaking of that, Tom Gretsch there, 22, just sliding back in behind Drew Ridge. So Drew Ridge, who had to come off the back after a great first effort in race 1. has moved up to 8th. And there's Jordan Love, the Western Australian driver, who did have a little error in race 1. He's had a nice solid start inside the top 10. Lewis Leeds back in 11th. Jack Sipp, another Queenslander coming from a speedway background. And, of course, Frankie Maiolo will... look at a bit of blocking going on here.
It's on at turn 11, but that was a nice move. And Ridge will also follow Will Brown through here. And that means Goddard loses a couple of spots. Gretsch will be on the outside. Goddard holds sway. Let's see if we can get a good exit out of 13. First, lay the power on. It's pretty even. So tuck in and try and get whatever slipstream you can. Talking about 6-speed. Manual or sequential boxes shifted with paddles. Approaching 200 k's an hour. Oh, big time defensive work from Randall. And Lloyd did well to not hit him. And a late move from Drew Ridge. Can he get it stopped and turned? No, not really. And that lets Goddard pick up those spots that he lost. Good racing.
Look at this. They're 3 wide here, which certainly won't work. They're going to have to try and file into single file for this one. Oh, big lock-up. That's Maiolo, so he's back out on track, obviously a lap down.
He's getting busy with these guys anyway, and that was Lewis Leeds that he was fighting with.
Thomas Randall was being very defensive down there, and Carl Reindler, who is our driver coach for this category, will be keeping a close eye on that. And they're the two really coming into this championship, I suppose. If you want to have favourites in a brand new series, it was certainly Randall and Lloyd. But well done, Jimmy Vernon. He just put his head down, and he's got a nice little gap out in front, out to just over half a second.
Getting confirmation from race control that Harry Hayek will not get a penalty for that start of the race. Riding aboard Tom Gretsch as everyone slid wide. He was very close to Zane Goddard, but did pick up a couple spots there. Just looking, making sure he's got him cleared before he starts to move back over to the left-hand side. Good racing from Tom Gretsch, and these guys are all on top of each other still.
Great vision too, great vision. So very hard to get a tow. The cars with the wing, a lot of them actually run the wing flat. So they're so even. They're identical Ford Fiesta 1.6 litre engines. Road car engine, albeit turbo. Oh, right round the outside. Where's Gretsch going there?
That was bold. It didn't work. He loses a spot to Drew Ridge, who started last after, unfortunately, not making the formation lap. Will Brown, winner of race 1, is falling back in the pack here. He was forced to start out of 6th, and I think we might be under safety car again here. We've popped up on our timing.
So I'm not sure what's happened there. We'll have to have a look whether it's around the backside of the track. So Tom Gretsch tried to go right around the outside of Zane Goddard, who's running in position 6. We're on board with Tom now. So you'll hear him lifting off through here. See yellow flags waving down on the right-hand side there.
This will compress the field. And
Frankie Maiolo's car. So whatever that technical, I would say, issue has, the car stopped again. So this time he's out of the car, and they'll tow that one out of the way.
And let's see what caused it. He's at the back there. Bit of understeer. Did he get the wall?
Just slight glance there, I think, Chad. And I think, so perhaps actually a little bit of a driver issue there. I'm not sure whether it's related, whether the car's actually lost engine power, and that's caused a bit of a slide for him mid-corner. So
right, Frankie will learn a lot this weekend running for Team BRM, an Adelaide driver in an Adelaide team. He started out dirt karts before making the move to bitumen and even having some supercard experience, but definitely comes from a speedway family. His cousin Ricky has done a fair bit of racing in the World Series sprint cars. Zane Goddard is just 15 years of age, no relation to some of the other Goddards getting around in Australian motorsport, some that have had F1 teams and some that race in Porsche Super Cup.
Yep, Spike doing well over there in Super Cup at the moment. So Vernon, your leader from Randall, Jordan Lloyd and Nick Rowe, as we mentioned, was a last-minute addition this week. Then Harry Hayek, Goddard, Drew Ridge, Gretsch, Brown and Geordie Love are your top 10 at the moment. So we're talking earlier about these Hankook tyres, so they do retain quite a lot of heat. So not a big issue keeping heat in them. Out of habit, the guys, and it's a good habit to get into as a junior driver, warming your tyres, but very grippy tyre, very soft compound. So perhaps another lap under safety car, removing Frankie's McGale. I'm a little nervous here, Chad. It's going to be a 3-lap screamer to the finish, and look, all the field bunched up. So Jimmy Vernon did a great job in not looking in the mirrors, and that's what you've got to do. He's got to slow the field up, bank them right up, and get on the throttle hard off the apex of this last corner. Try and get that slingshot, because you can't put the power on before the guy in front.
Oh, that was close, Randall.
Go now. That's when he needs to go.
It was right up behind him, and once again, it's tight. What might be the saving grace here for Vernon is actually the car in third, Jordan Lloyd, and Lloyd's got a pretty good restart here. We're going side by side behind them with Harry Hayek, who actually got a great jump and moves slightly ahead of Nick Rowe. Oh, Lloyd wants to get that line over. He tries to squeeze Randall, but Randall's too far up the inside. They might take out Vernon. Oh, he turns him round. He clipped his gearbox, and here we go. Thankfully, only 2 cars involved. Randall, the guilty party, as Vernon is taken out of the race lead.
He did such a good job, so we're going to be under safety car again.
Oh, still on in the background.
That's Lewis Leeds. But look, they were both diving in there, but unfortunately Thomas just hasn't quite been able to pull it up and turn him around. So a real shame, because Jimmy Vernon was doing an absolutely sensational job under pressure, and 3 cars going in under brakes, and 1 hasn't been able to quite pull it up in time.
It was just the smallest of touches too, and Goddard climbing out of his car, still with some witness marks on the nose cone from yesterday's crash. And he's going to hop out.
So it doesn't look like there's any part of the front wing missing there. Yep. So there has been some contact. Oh, of course, it was over the front of Jimmy's car. And Jimmy Vernon, looked fantastically prepared car by AGI, and of course Tool Force sponsorship.
We'll probably get an early checker here. There it is.
Yeah.
Randall will lead us to the checkered flag, but is it a race win that he'll keep is the question. Jordan Lloyd second, and Nick Rowe maybe will get promoted up to second, depending on how this all washes out. Carl Reinler will be a busy man here.
Yeah, so our race director, Laurie Schmidt, becomes the investigating officer in this situation. And I think Tom Gretsch is out as well. So Laurie Schmidt will be looking at it, and most likely there's points penalties for driving incidents, but we'll let the system take care of that.
This is how it all worked out in the wash. And Lloyd and Randall popping up there. That's 5-second difference, so that's an odd one. Randall definitely led us to the checkered flag, but was there a penalty that's been handed down already is the question. Interesting one. Zane Goddard, unfortunately, a DNF. Maiolo also. And that was a few cars caught up in that nasty turn 2 crash on the restart.